Hi all, welcome back. Today's discussion will be a continuation of our previous video on how do organisms reproduce. Part 2. Today we'll be having a discussion on sexual reproduction in plants in detail. We'll also have an introduction on sexual reproduction and a small mind map on how do organisms reproduce. How do organisms reproduce? Yes, as we have already discussed, we know that organisms can reproduce either asexually or sexually. Asexual reproduction can be either by unicellular organisms or by multicellular organisms. In unicellular organisms, it can either be binary fission, multiple fission, or budding, whereas in multicellular organisms, it can be fragmentation, regeneration, budding, spore formation, and vegetative propagation. Today's topic is sexual reproduction. It can take place in plants and in human beings. Before we go to today's topic, sexual reproduction in plants in detail, let's have a brief introduction on what is sexual reproduction. Sexual reproduction. Sexual reproduction in plants and in human beings is nothing but a mode of reproduction that takes place with the involvement of two individuals of two different sexes, male and female. Let us now have a brief note on sexual reproduction in human beings. During sexual reproduction, male organisms having male sex organs produces male gametes such that sperms, which are small and motile, and the female organisms having female sex organs produces ova, which are generally large and store food. Male and female gametes fuse together to form a zygote that grows into a new organisms. This is the basic process of sexual reproduction in human beings. I am not discussing about sexual reproduction in plants here, as this will be taken in detail in the following slides. Now let's move on in detail about sexual reproduction in flowering plants. Now let's discuss about stamens. Stamens are the male reproductive parts and produce pollen grains that contains the male gamete. Each stamen has two parts, the filament, the stalk, and the anther, which is the swollen top part that has a large number of pollen grains. Coming to the carpel. The carpel is the female reproductive parts and produces ovules that contain the female gametes. This carpel has three parts: stigma, style, and ovary. Bisexual. These have both stamens and carpels. For examples, mustard and China rose.